Welcome to another episode of Mysteries Unknown. In tonight's podcast, I've got John with me, and John had an experience with Bigfoot about 20-something years ago in Virginia. Pretty scary encounter. We're going to let him jump into that in just a second, but before I do, I just want to say thank you again for listening, subscribing to this podcast, because without you guys, this would not be possible. Also, if you've got a mystery you would like to send me, you can send it to me by email at video@jscreativear.com. John, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm glad you're here. I know that your experience happened in Virginia about 20-something years ago, so why don't you go ahead and take our listeners back to that time and just start at the beginning and kind of lead us up to your encounter.
We just decided we were going to toss the camping gear on the back of my truck, run down to the store, 12-pack of beer, some hot dogs, hamburgers, and hey, we're going to run down the road here, throw camp up, and hang out, because there's a creek there so you can fish, or just 4 guys hang out, stay the night, and then we get up the next morning and fish some more, hang out. But we weren't going to stay the second night, So that's just how it started. So we go, we stop, we find the campsite that we wanted, which they're primitive campsite. So there's no bathrooms, there's no water. It's just flat ground with a fire pit. And it's simple. If you get there before anybody else does, it's yours. On a little knoll, which means it would be away from everybody. We'd be looking down on everybody. Set camp up, typical camp up, going out through the woods, looking for wood to build the campfire, built the campfire, cooked, had a few beers, talked. Everything is just normal, just like anybody else would do. Drank a few beers, hung out around the campfire. It's time to go to bed, so we went. Took about a 6-man tent. Well, somehow or another, I ended up in the back against the back wall. So we're all asleep. I would say, 1, 2 o'clock, somewhere around there. I get up, I kick, big brush against the back of the tent. Well, my first reaction was, it's one of them, so, and then they're, so I just look to my left and start counting heads. 1, 2, 3. All right. They're in the tent. It's not them. So roll back over against the tent, back of the tent, nice moonlight, and there he stood. Now I say he, but I really never seen the front, so it could have been a sheep. But no noise. I heard nothing besides the brush, the kick of the tent. No noise, no smell, and of course I could have set up, flipped up over on my knees. If it wasn't for the tent, I could have grabbed him by the ankle. So I just, I knew it wasn't a bear. I have been camping and hunting since I was 9 years old. You can say what you want. That was no bear, because no bear stands like that. No bear walks, because I watched it walk away until it just faded away in the dark. No, it's like he was walking on pillows. Walked away, and then of course I laid back down, but there was no more sleep. No more sleep. The other 3, they never woke up. And to this day, they still don't know. I told it to Daniel Benoit and a few other people on podcasts, and I've never mentioned none of them's name, and I never will.
That sounds like a really scary experience. I know you saw the back of it. You never saw the front, but how tall and how broad was it?
About 7.5 feet, probably about 3 feet wide. I mean, it looked like the Incredible Hulk, except for it was furry. But like I said, no noises, it didn't holler, it didn't grunt, growl.
It makes you wonder if you just happened to camp out in one of its, spots where it walked through or not. I guess, I don't know, but man, I'm thankful that you're here to tell that tale, because that could have went all kinds of sideways. But what do you think after this experience? I got a couple questions. How did that change your life? And then what do you think Bigfoot is? And there's no wrong answer, but what's your opinion?
I kept stories from my wife for 20-some years. I never even told her. We wasn't married then, but I never told her. And so she had an experience, kind of jumping off subjects, but it all kind of goes together if you give me a second. So she had an experience with mountain lions in Virginia, which they do not exist in Virginia, whatever. And I seen how she was treated when she told, look, it was a mountain lion. I know it was a mountain lion, and she all know, they told her all know. You've probably seen a coyote or, you've probably seen a house cat. Well, I got a house cat laying beside of me and he looks nothing like a damn mountain lion, So I seen her reaction, to that. So then it wasn't a day or two. I told her the story I just told you. And then I reported it, got on the FRO website, done the report more than once. No response, nothing at all. And we were watching TV, which is got all those Bigfoot shows on TV. We were watching stuff like that. And I told my wife, I said, I'm gonna file a report one more time. One more. I was searching through, Facebook, whatever. And Daniel Benoit popped up. And I told Mary, I said, I don't know. It's something about this one. I said, I'm going to send him a message. And I said, and if he doesn't want to talk to me, doesn't send me a message back, then nobody else will ever hear this story. Period. I'm done. And he sent the message like, oh, yeah, Keith, can you do a podcast with me? I want to hear it. Which I thought was incredible. So now I'm a member of the ECBRO investigative part with him now. And I've been going to every Bigfoot con he has. I've been to investigations camped out with him. Yeah, I jumped in head first.
Well, this world, and I call it a world because it definitely will suck you in, and it definitely will do that. And there's a lot of people that are just like you that have these stories that are afraid to tell them because of the ridicule that people give. Because I think people just don't know what to do with it, and that's the whole reason for my platform, is to give people a safe place to share their story. And I'm glad that you were able to find somebody that helped you with that. And I'm glad you came on here and shared your story with our audience. I know they've enjoyed that, but back to my question, what do you think Bigfoot is?
Unknown primate. I mean, it looks as real as me. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I've seen the people. I'm nowhere near an expert on any of this. I've heard a few people talk about that. They walk through portals, and aliens brought them here, and I just don't think so. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, I'll admit I'm wrong.
That's the fun in it for me, is just the unknown mystery, the mystery behind it. I personally think that it could be something tied with the Nephilim, but I think you have a lot of people that have a lot of different views. But the first cue is if somebody says they're an expert, they generally probably don't know, because nobody knows. There's no way we can know.
I want to see another one. It's just, I want to confirm for me. I just might sound wrong, but I want to confirm to me that what I saw the first time is what I saw. And I really don't care what anybody else thinks. Because I'm not out trying to make millions of dollars off of, the story I just told you. I'd like to see another one. And I have heard things, since then in the woods that, I can't explain, because like I said, I've been camping alone since I was 9 years old, because my grandmother and grandfather raised me. So they raised me to be extremely independent, so I'd go, me and a couple of buddies, back then would go, 2 or 3 miles down the road to, it was a gentleman that owned a bunch of property, that we could camp on his property. So we go down there and camp without any parents or grandparents or, you know. So I pretty much know everything in the woods except for what that was.
Well, it's definitely a mystery, and I'm glad, like I said, that you were here to tell and to share that with our audience. And I appreciate you coming on and sharing that. For our listeners, why don't you kind of describe the area? I know it's in Virginia, but what is it like? Is it a real rural area? What's the area like?
You know, you go up there and you camp, and if you see one or two people the whole time you're there, you're lucky. I believe that night we were in the highest campsite in that place. Where we were at, in that section. And I believe that because if you left our campsite and hit the road that we came in on and went up, the road ends at the water tower at the top of the hill. So, I take it as he, because I call it a he. I don't know why, because I can't tell you whether it was or not. I just say he. We happened to be in the campsite that I think that he walked through to get to the road to walk to the tower, the water tower. Because I researched that area, and there was a woman that did a police report that you can look up and read yourself in Botetourt County, that she was going to work on the parkway, which is within 2 miles of where we were camping. She was on the parkway going to work, and she said that there was a female Bigfoot crossed the road carrying a baby. And if it crossed the road, then it crossed the road coming to where we were camping at, that area of so it was crossing the road from Bedford to Botetourt. So that would be bringing the female and the baby to us. If we were camping, that's what I mean.
Now, that's probably what it was, and it's probably a family, and you just happened to be at the right place at the right time to see it. But I appreciate you so much, John, for jumping on here and sharing that story with our audience. And I know it takes a lot of guts to share something like that, especially, sometimes the ridicule that you get. But I really appreciate you doing that. And guys, if you have a mystery or something you want to share with me, you can send it to me by email at video@jscreativear.com. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Thanks for listening to the podcast and supporting it. Make sure to stay tuned for the next episode. And like I always say, stay prayed up.